Morning everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to clean up a deer skull before you either put it into a boiling tank or the beetles or emaciate or whatever method you choose on using. Before we get started on that, we're going to have to clean a bunch of this stuff up. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing you want to do is cut as much meat off of this guy as possible. There's no real trick or art to that, it's just get it cut off. Usually try, a lot of guys leave this whole big chunk on the back of the neck here. Try and get that off first. So you kind of just move it back and forth and keep hacking until you can see the where the joint in the vertebrae is. And then I'm just going to work my knife in between it while also keeping pressure on it. And I'm pushing up on this. And just keep working your knife in there. Eventually it will let go. And to this point, you just keep kind of cutting off that connective tissue between them. And start hacking off meat as much as you can. The more meat you take off at this stage, the less work you have to do later on. So with the beetles, when you leave too much on there, it starts to rot. It kind of can sometimes be a problem. If you're boiling, it's just that much more stuff you have to try and cut off after. I found with boiling, you pretty much have to go in layers. You cook a layer, you cut it off, you cook a layer, you cut it off. So you can eliminate a few layers, you can kind of get down to the base faster than with emaciating. I've only done it a few times, but in my experience, the less stuff that's on there, the less it's going to smell. So that's always a bonus. It's also a good idea to wear gloves when you're doing this because like this guy here, he's been bouncing around the hunter's shop for a while. And he brought it to me, and it's taken me a few days to get to this part of it as well. So all kinds of fun bacteria can start showing up when you start leaving stuff like that. And also you get a cut, and happened to me recently cleaning up some other skulls. I got a cut on my finger and got kind of infected and caused some issues for a few days. So, and it was just a minor little paper cut, like I didn't even notice. I don't even know if it bled, it was so tiny, but that's all it took because the right bacteria got in there. So keep that in mind. With the eyes, I usually like to try and remove them. They're not hard to remove. Just kind of fish your knife in there, cut around like that. Just kind of pry it out of there like that and keep cutting it as you go. Big chunk of meat that doesn't need to be in there, or chunk of goo that doesn't need to be in there. I'm going to go on to the next step. So. get the lower jaw off, you want to kind of cut all this connective tissue up in here as much as you can on both sides. I kind of pull on it like that, you can kind of see it. So down inside here, cut all that too. Kind of push it right off like that. Get some more of this up. At this point, it's kind of up to you how far you want to take it. You've got the main big chunks of stuff taken off. Obviously, if you want the lower jaw in your mount, you're going to keep it. You're not just going to throw it in the scrap bin. But yeah, at this point, so you can keep doing this as long as you want, but it gets to the point where it's going to be easier to just move it on to the next stage of the cleaning. So try and get some of these little guys off the back here. But yeah, even if I feel like you just loosen these up a little bit, let's whatever method you're using get in there a little deeper. So at this point, I'm probably gonna call it, and this guy's destined to go to the Beatles. That's what I use, but whatever method you use, this is kind of where you want it to be at before you get started.